If you want to uptick in performance with your 2025 or newer 3-liter Ram 1500, this AFE Momentum GT cold air intake with the Pro Dry S filter in red is a great way to do it. Now, cold air intake on an FI platform like the Hurricane motor is a great way to free up a little horsepower and torque, especially paired with other supporting mods, and this option by AFE does that in addition to keeping the air going in a lot cleaner, helping the longevity of your setup. Now, this particular option is specifically good for the Ram owner who wants an airbox setup for additional protection to their filter, whether it's from the elements sneaking in their engine bay or hotter climates, and wants an easy to service air filter with a reusable design for convenience and of course a big bump in flow for performance. I do want to mention that this does not require a tune, but will do very well paired with one, and that this isn't compatible with the RHO model Rams, so just keep that in mind while you're checking this out. Now, this intake's main job is eliminating restriction with a higher flow system with the design of the tubing, housing, and filter, which frees up the flow about 27% compared to stock according to AFE. Now, the star of the show here is the Pro Dry S filter, which not only helps with the additional airflow, but it's also reusable, so you don't have to worry about replacing it every couple thousand miles or so like the factory one. Now, the housing here also features a clear sight window up top to keep an eye on your filter for maintenance without having to completely disassemble the entire thing to check up on it, which offers some convenience to the setup. The system also noticeably increases that turbo noise as well for a sporty feel to the truck, while offering a better look underneath the hood with this bright red appearance, the quality build, and the well-fitting components. Now, breaking down the build, starting off with the filter, this is AFE's 3-layer synthetic media filter, which offers a good amount of efficiency and a high dust hold capacity. This also includes a one-piece housing made from a red heat-resistant cross-linked polyethylene material, so you can ensure that this is going to remain heat-resistant and incredibly durable underneath the hood. Now, same goes for the intake tubing here, and it does have a big and unobstructed build, resulting in that streamlined airflow. The kit also includes stainless steel clamps and silicone couplers for a reliable and straightforward installation. Now, this is one of the pricier choices in the category at around $550. Now, comparing this to others like it, this features a dry filter, which some customers prefer compared to an oiled filter for a little less mess when it comes time to service it. And this has a bright red finish to the build, which is very unique compared to standard black options. Now, while it may cost a little bit more, the protection, performance, and the bold appearance here definitely make this intake stand out, and it has a high quality build to each of the components here, really making it worth it if these are some of the features that you're searching for. Install here is a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and it should really take about 2 hours or so to get your old intake out and this one bolted up and set into place. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to one of our installers. They're going to show you a detailed breakdown on how you can get this installed onto your Ram at home. So that wraps it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, clip remover tool, T20 Torx driver, an extension, 8, 10, and 13 millimeter sockets. Today we're installing an intake on our Ram, so let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is remove our engine cover. Now, right behind the back of it here, we have a 13 millimeter nut. It's going to be really hard to get a camera angle on that, but just kind of feel it with your finger, grab a 13 millimeter socket, and remove it. And then with that out of the way, we just need to lift up on the engine cover to pop it off the grommets, and then pull forward and remove it. Next, we need to pop our coolant line out of these clips and remove all the push clips holding in our MAF sensor wiring. So just kind of spread these clips apart and lift up, pop that out. And then we're going to grab a clip remover tool to pop all these clips out. And then we're going to pull back on the tab and then press in. This is the tab you're pulling back on to disengage it, to unlock, and then you're going to push in on that same tab to disconnect your connector. And I'm just gonna slide that out of the way for now. Next, I'm gonna take an 8mm socket to loosen up the clamp at the throttle body. Now we don't have a lot of play on that clamp, so I'm gonna come back to the one right before the air box, loosen that up with an 8mm socket, and pop this accordion part backwards. So now I'm going to come to my air box. I'm going to pull straight up to lift this off the grommets, and then we'll have room to pull our tube off. Now we have one 10mm bolt hiding right next to the oil filler. So I'm going to grab a 10mm socket, get down there and remove that. And now we just need to lift up to pop the backside off the grommet. And then we'll just wiggle this right off of the throttle body. So now we've got a couple things we need to swap over from our intake box to our new setup. We've got 4 grommets at the bottom that we need to swap over, as well as our mass airflow sensor. So I've got a T20 Torx driver that I'm going to use to remove these. And then we have 2 new screws. There's still going to be a T20 Torx screw that are going into our new intake tube. So now take your T20 Torx driver, remove those 2 screws. And then we're just going to pop that out, slide it in, thread in our 2 new bolts. Tighten those down with that T20 Torx driver. So now we just need to swap over our 4 rubber grommets. These can just pull and wiggle right out. And then we'll just pop them into our new intake. Now we have an optional plug that you can choose to install right here. If you want a little bit more airflow coming into your box, then you can leave this off. Now for demonstration purposes, I'm going to throw it in since we have it. So we're just going to line these up and press them into place. Now we've got this plug that's going to be going in that one remaining hole. So line that up and press it in. And then once we have our intake box assembled, we can drop our filter into place. We've got kind of like a thread thing going on here. So just slide it in and just turn it to the right to lock it into place. Next, we're gonna grab our intake tube. We've got 2 grommets that we need to swap over. Now this first one has a metal sleeve in it. So I'm just gonna take a 3/8 extension from the other side, get it right in the middle, and push on that metal part, pop that out. Pop the grommet out, transfer it over, and then we'll put that metal sleeve back in there. And then this other one, you're gonna have to wrestle a little bit to get it out. And then once you have that out, press that down into place. And then we're just left with our 2 holes here. We're going to be installing these clips for our mass airflow sensor wire harness to run through. So now we're going to drop in our air box. We want to line up the grommets with these 4 posts. And we're just going to drop it straight down onto them. So now we just need to piece together our intake tube. So I'm going to take our biggest clamp and slide that onto my filter, and then I'll grab my smallest clamp and slide it onto the smaller side of this coupler, put the smaller side on the throttle body. And then we're going to install the first piece of our pipe. We've got those 2 grommets, the one's going onto this stud and the other one's getting the bolt through it into that hole. get another one of my clamps. Wiggle that in, push it down on the grommet, and then I'm going to take that bolt and thread it into the other grommet. I'll tighten that bolt with my 10mm socket. Next, I'm going to take my tube that's going into my filter, and then I'm going to get my coupler that goes in the middle with my two clamps. Now I'm going to grab an 8mm socket and work my way from the throttle body back, tightening down my clamps. And then on my center one, I'm going to want to get my coupler lined up on one of these first and tighten down that side. My clamp straight, and then with that side clamped down, I can use that to force this coupler over, get that lined up, and then finally we'll tighten down the one on our filter. Get it snug first, so I can line it up before I fully tighten it down. And then right in the middle, we've got our coolant pipe and our wire for our mass airflow sensor connector. This wire we're going to be pressing into those circle clips that we installed earlier. So you can kind of pull them apart to get it started, and then just push it in. And then we'll grab our connector. Remember, you have this clear tab that you need to press in on to lock it once it's connected. Press it in, press that down. And then we just need to take our coolant line, press it into the two clips built into our tube. And then we're just left with our engine cover. We have this one post that's going to go into the grommet in the back. You need to slide that in first and then fold it down. This is the stud that that nut goes on. And then we've got a bunch of our clips for the grommets. Let's get that lined up and pushed in. And then just line up your other grommets. Push it down. And then you're going to take your nut, thread that back onto the stud. Again, this is really difficult to see. Then grab your 13mm socket and tighten that down. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the AFE Momentum GT cold air intake with Pro Dry S filter in red for your 2025 and newer 3-liter Ram 1500, excluding RHO. Thank you for watching. For all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.